The truth is, happiness isn't something you stumble upon by chance. It's something you cultivate intentionally. And while modern psychology offers valuable insights into human behavior, ancient philosophies like Stoicism have been teaching timeless lessons about living well for centuries. These teachings remind us that true happiness doesn't come from external achievements or material wealth. It comes from within. It's about how we think, feel, and respond to life's inevitable ups and downs. In this article, we'll explore 6 powerful principles rooted in Stoic philosophy and backed by modern science. Each principle serves as a guidepost on your journey toward a happier, more meaningful life. From laughing more and connecting with nature to letting go of grudges and saying yes to new opportunities, these lessons will inspire you to live with greater purpose, gratitude, and resilience. But before we dive in, let me share a story, a tale that frames the wisdom we're about to uncover. Chapter 1: The Journey Within, a story about finding happiness. Once upon a time, in a quiet valley nestled between rolling hills, there lived a young man named Mark. On the surface, Mark seemed to have it all: a comfortable home, a stable job, and plenty of material possessions. But deep down, he felt an ache, a sense that something vital was missing from his life. No matter how much he achieved or acquired, the void inside him only grew larger. One day, overwhelmed by his restlessness, Mark decided to embark on a journey, not across distant lands, but inward, to discover the secret to true happiness. Along the way, he encountered a wise old man who lived in a humble cabin atop a hill. Over hours of conversation, the old man shared 3 simple yet profound pieces of advice. Practice gratitude. Appreciate what you already have, because if you don't, no amount of wealth or success will ever satisfy you. Embrace acceptance. Life is unpredictable, filled with highs and lows. Learn to accept things as they are, rather than fighting against them. Cultivate love. Love what you do, love the people around you, and most importantly, love yourself. Only then can you radiate happiness to others. Mark returned to the valley transformed. His friends noticed the change immediately. His smile was brighter, his energy infectious. When asked about his transformation, Mark simply replied, "Happiness isn't a destination. It's the journey." This story sets the stage for the lessons ahead. Like Mark, each of us has the power to transform our lives, not by searching for happiness outside ourselves, but by cultivating it from within. Let's begin. Lesson 1: Laugh more, the healing power of laughter. Have you ever stopped to consider how rarely we laugh as adults compared to when we were children? As kids, laughter came naturally, a spontaneous response to joy, silliness, or even absurdity. But somewhere along the way, we traded giggles for seriousness, humor for stress, and playfulness for productivity. And in doing so, we lost one of the simplest yet most potent tools for happiness: laughter. Laughter isn't just a feel-good reaction, it's medicine for the soul. Scientific studies show that laughter triggers the release of endorphins and serotonin, chemicals that boost mood, reduce pain, and combat stress. It also lowers levels of cortisol and adrenaline, hormones associated with anxiety and tension. In short, laughter acts like a reset button for your nervous system, calming you down and helping you regain perspective during challenging times. But here's the thing: laughter doesn't wait for perfect moments. Sometimes, you need to create them. Whether it's watching a funny movie, sharing jokes with friends, or finding humor in everyday mishaps, incorporating laughter into your daily routine can work wonders for your mental and physical health. Consider this analogy. Life is like a roller coaster, full of unexpected twists, sudden drops, and heart-pounding moments. Laughter is the safety harness that keeps you secure, allowing you to enjoy the ride, even when it gets bumpy. So the next time life feels overwhelming, remember, laughter is always within reach. As the saying goes, laughter is the best medicine. Don't underestimate its power. Lesson 2: Get outside, reconnecting with nature. Modern life has a peculiar way of keeping us indoors. Between long hours at work, endless scrolling on our phones, and artificial lighting that tricks our brains into thinking it's daytime, many of us spend most of our lives disconnected from the natural world. But humans weren't designed to live this way. For centuries, we thrived by being outdoors, immersed in the rhythms of nature. So why have we moved so far away from this fundamental connection? Stoic philosophers believed that aligning ourselves with nature was essential for living a harmonious and balanced life. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." This simple yet profound insight reminds us that nature operates at its own pace, free from the pressures of deadlines and expectations. By stepping outside and reconnecting with the natural world, we can tap into this rhythm and find peace amidst chaos. Research supports this idea. Studies show that spending just 20 minutes in a green space, whether it's a park, forest, or garden, can significantly lower cortisol levels, reduce stress, and improve overall well-being. Even small actions, like opening a window to let in fresh air or taking a short walk around your neighborhood, can make a big difference. Think about the last time you felt truly grounded. Was it standing under a starry sky, listening to the rustle of leaves in the wind, or feeling the warmth of sunlight on your skin? These seemingly insignificant moments hold immense power to shift your mindset and bring clarity to your thoughts. Nature reminds us of the bigger picture, putting our worries and stresses into perspective. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed, step outside. Breathe in the fresh air, marvel at the beauty around you, and let nature do what it does best: heal, restore, and inspire. Lesson 3. Be a morning person, rising with purpose. Let's be honest, morning people don't always have the best reputation. For many, waking up early feels like punishment. The alarm blares, dragging you out of your cozy bed, and all you want to do is hit snooze and drift back into dreamland. Who can blame you? Modern life has conditioned us to stay up late binge-watching shows, scrolling through social media, or squeezing every last bit of relaxation out of the night. But what if I told you that becoming a morning person could be one of the best decisions you make for your happiness, health, and overall sense of well-being? The Stoics, who placed great emphasis on discipline and self-control, understood the value of starting the day early. Marcus Aurelius once said, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do?'" This Stoic mindset highlights the idea that mornings are not just about waking up to face another day of obligations. They're an opportunity to embrace your purpose. By waking up early, you set the tone for the rest of your day. You take control rather than letting the day control you. Science backs this up. Studies have shown that early risers tend to be more optimistic, proactive, and less likely to experience stress. A study conducted by researchers at the University of Toronto found that people who wake up earlier report higher levels of positive emotions and overall life satisfaction. They also tend to be healthier, with lower risks of conditions like obesity and depression. In other words, waking up early isn't just a nice idea. It's a proven way to boost your mental and physical health. One of the key reasons why waking up early is so beneficial is that it gives you time. Think about it. When you wake up before the world does, you have those precious, quiet moments to yourself. No emails, no phone calls, no rush, just you and your thoughts. It's the perfect time for reflection, planning, or even just enjoying a cup of coffee while the world outside is still asleep. This quiet time allows you to set your intentions for the day, making you more focused and productive when things get busy later on. Another benefit of waking up early is that it aligns you with your body's natural rhythm. Our bodies are wired to follow a circadian rhythm, an internal clock that regulates when we feel awake and when we feel sleepy. By going to bed earlier and waking up with the sun, you're working in harmony with this natural rhythm. This not only makes you feel more energized, but also improves the quality of your sleep. It's important to note that becoming a morning person doesn't mean you have to suddenly start waking up at 5 a.m. every day. The key is to gradually adjust your schedule in a way that feels natural to you. Start by going to bed 15 minutes earlier than usual and waking up 15 minutes earlier in the morning. Over time, you'll find that waking up early becomes a habit, one that you actually look forward to. But what do you do with all that extra time in the morning? This is where you can really start to see the benefits of being an early riser. Use those quiet hours to do things that are important to you, but often get pushed aside during the busy day. Maybe it's working out, meditating, journaling, or even just sitting in silence to gather your thoughts. The Stoics believed in the power of reflection, and the early morning is the perfect time for it. As Seneca said, the mind must be given relaxation. It will rise improved and sharper after a good break. One thing that can help you get out of bed in the morning is having something to look forward to. This doesn't have to be anything big. Maybe it's the simple pleasure of enjoying a peaceful breakfast, going for a walk, or starting the day with a good book. Having a positive reason to get up can make those early hours feel like a reward rather than a chore. Now, I know mornings can be tough at first. You might feel groggy or sluggish as you adjust to your new schedule, but stick with it. Over time, your body will adapt, and you'll start to notice the benefits. You'll have more energy, feel more in control of your day, and experience less stress. And the best part? You'll have more time to do the things that matter to you without the constant rush of everyday life. Let's not forget the practical side of being a morning person either. When you wake up early, you're ahead of the game. You have time to get organized, tackle tasks, and even handle potential problems before they escalate. Instead of feeling like you're constantly playing catch-up, you'll find yourself in a proactive mindset, ready to take on the challenges of the day with confidence. In conclusion, becoming a morning person isn't about being perfect or following a strict schedule. It's about creating space in your day for the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. By waking up early, you give yourself the gift of time to reflect, time to grow, and time to live with intention. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off, try resisting the urge to hit snooze. Instead, embrace the quiet, peaceful start to the day and watch how it transforms your life. Lesson 4. Pack your days with plans, living with intention. Have you ever noticed how some days seem to fly by while others drag on forever? It's a curious thing how time can feel so different depending on how we fill it. We've all experienced those lazy weekends where we had nothing planned, and by Sunday night, we're left wondering where the time went. On the flip side, days that are packed with activities and plans often feel more fulfilling, as if we've truly made the most of our time. But here's the key. It's not just about being busy for the sake of it. It's about filling your days with purposeful, meaningful plans that add value to your life. The Stoics had a lot to say about time. Seneca, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, famously warned about the dangers of wasting time in his essay on the shortness of life. He wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The Stoics believed that time was one of our most valuable resources and that we should use it wisely, with intention and purpose. But how do we do that in today's fast-paced world, where it's so easy to get distracted or overwhelmed? Let's start by considering what it means to pack your day. We're not talking about filling every minute with mindless tasks or running yourself ragged with never-ending to-do lists. Instead, it's about being intentional with your time, planning activities that bring you joy, fulfillment, and growth. It's about creating a balance between productivity and spontaneity, making room for both structured plans and unexpected opportunities. Think of your time like a bank account. Every day, you're given a limited amount of hours, and it's up to you how you spend them. Some people save their time by doing nothing, thinking they're preserving their energy or avoiding stress. But in reality, time that isn't spent with purpose is often time wasted. The Stoics would argue that we should be investing our time wisely, spending it on activities that nourish our minds, bodies, and relationships. Studies have shown that people who plan their days tend to feel more satisfied with how they spend their time. According to research published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, people who engage in goal setting and planning report higher levels of happiness and a greater sense of control over their lives. This is because having a plan gives us a sense of direction. When you know what you want to accomplish, it's easier to stay focused, motivated, and on track. But let's be clear, this isn't about turning your life into a rigid schedule. It's important to leave room for spontaneity and relaxation too. In fact, overscheduling yourself can lead to burnout, which is the opposite of what we're aiming for. The goal is to find a balance. By planning your day with intention, you give yourself the freedom to enjoy each moment rather than feeling like time is slipping away. So, how can you start packing your days with purposeful plans? First, take a step back and think about what really matters to you. What are the activities that bring you joy? What are the things you've been meaning to do but keep putting off? Maybe it's spending time with family, working on a personal project, exercising, or learning something new. Whatever it is, make a commitment to prioritize these activities. Write them down, schedule them into your day, and treat them with the same importance as you would a work meeting or appointment. One powerful way to approach this is by breaking your day into chunks. For example, you could dedicate the first part of your day to your most important tasks when your mind is fresh and focused. Then, set aside time in the afternoon for more creative or social activities. By structuring your day in this way, you ensure that you're making time for both productivity and enjoyment. Another tip is to set small, achievable goals for each day. This helps you stay on track and gives you a sense of accomplishment as you check things off your list. But remember, these goals don't have to be monumental. Even something as simple as going for a walk, calling a friend, or reading for 20 minutes can make a big difference in how you feel about your day. The key is to make sure that each day includes activities that align with your values and bring you closer to your personal goals. The Stoics believe that we should approach each day as an opportunity to grow and improve ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "At day's first light, have in readiness against disinclination to leave your bed, the thought that I am rising for the work of man." This idea of rising with purpose is central to Stoic philosophy. Each day is a chance to become better, wiser, and more fulfilled, but only if we use our time wisely. Of course, life doesn't always go according to plan. There will be days when things don't go as expected, when your carefully crafted schedule gets thrown out the window. And that's okay. The beauty of Stoicism is that it teaches us to accept what we cannot control and to adapt. If your plans get derailed, don't stress, just adjust. The important thing is to stay flexible and focus on what you can do with the time you have left. At the end of the day, packing your life with plans isn't about being busy. It's about being mindful of how you spend your time. It's about making sure that your days are filled with meaning, growth, and joy. And when you do that, you'll find that time seems to expand rather than slip away. So, take a moment to reflect on how you're spending your time. Are you filling your days with purpose? Or are you letting them slip by in a blur of distractions? Remember, time is one of your most valuable resources. Use it wisely, and you'll find that your days feel fuller, richer, and more satisfying. As the Stoics remind us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Lesson 5. Don't quit on what you love. How many times have you thought about giving up on something you love just because it felt hard? Maybe it was a hobby you enjoyed, a project you were passionate about, or even a career path that once made you excited. Somewhere along the way, though, things got tough. Life got busy, progress slowed, and you started wondering if it was really worth the effort to keep going. But here's the thing. Quitting on what you love doesn't just mean abandoning a passion. It means denying yourself one of the greatest sources of fulfillment and happiness. The Stoics had a lot to say about perseverance, and it's easy to see why. Life, they believed, was full of challenges, obstacles, and setbacks. But they also believed that the key to a fulfilling life was not in avoiding difficulty, but in pushing through it. As Seneca put it, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that things are difficult. In other words, the things you love are worth fighting for, even when they seem out of reach. So why do we quit on the things we love? More often than not, it's because we get discouraged. Maybe you've hit a rough patch, or maybe progress is slower than you'd like. It's easy to feel like you're not getting anywhere, especially in a world that demands instant results. But here's the truth. Anything worth doing takes time, effort, and persistence. The Stoics would remind us that the path to greatness is not a straight line. It's full of twists, turns, and unexpected challenges. And that's exactly why you shouldn't give up. Think about a time when you stuck with something you love, even when it got hard. Maybe it was learning to play an instrument, writing a book, or training for a marathon. There were probably moments when you wanted to quit, when it seemed like you'd never get better or finish. But by pushing through, you not only accomplished something great, you also grew as a person. Perseverance teaches us patience, resilience, and discipline, and these qualities are essential for leading a meaningful life. There's also a scientific side to this. Research has shown that people who stick with their passions tend to be happier and more satisfied with their lives. According to a study published in the Journal of Positive Psychology, individuals who engage in passion-driven activities experience greater levels of well-being, lower levels of stress, and a stronger sense of purpose. This is because doing what you love taps into a deep well of intrinsic motivation. It's something you do for the joy of it, not because someone else told you to, or because you're chasing an external reward. The problem is, we often get caught up in the idea that if something isn't easy, it's not worth it. But the Stoics teach us the opposite. They believe that struggle and hardship are an inevitable part of life, and that true happiness comes from overcoming these challenges. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This famous Stoic quote reminds us that obstacles aren't roadblocks, they're stepping stones. The very things that make a task difficult are what help us grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. So how do you keep going when the going gets tough? The first step is to remember why you started in the first place. What drew you to this passion? What was it about this hobby, project, or career that made you feel alive? Reconnect with that initial spark of excitement. Sometimes, when we lose sight of the bigger picture, we get bogged down by the day-to-day frustrations. But when you remind yourself of the joy that comes from doing what you love, it becomes easier to push through the hard parts. Another important thing to remember is that progress doesn't always look the way we expect it to. You might not see results right away, and that's okay. The Stoics believed in focusing on the process rather than the outcome. They understood that we can't always control the results of our efforts, but we can control how much effort we put in. Instead of worrying about whether or not you're succeeding in the traditional sense, focus on showing up and doing the work. The progress will come, even if it's not immediately visible. Think of it like planting a tree. At first, you can't see any growth above the ground, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening beneath the surface. Roots are spreading, establishing a foundation that will eventually support a towering tree. The same goes for your passions. The effort you put in today might not show immediate results, but it's building a foundation for future success. Of course, there are times when quitting might seem like the easier option. Maybe you're exhausted, frustrated, or feeling like you're not cut out for this particular challenge. But before you throw in the towel, ask yourself this: will you regret giving up? Often, the answer is yes. The things we love have a way of staying with us, even when we walk away from them. If you're passionate about something, quitting will only leave you with a sense of what could have been. The Stoics would argue that this regret is far worse than the discomfort of pushing through a tough time. If you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, take a step back and break the challenge down into smaller, manageable parts. Instead of focusing on the entire journey ahead, just focus on the next step. What's the one thing you can do today to move closer to your goal? Maybe it's practicing for 10 minutes, writing a single page, or completing one small task. By focusing on these small wins, you'll build momentum and make progress without feeling overwhelmed. At the end of the day, don't forget that doing what you love is a privilege. Not everyone has the opportunity to pursue their passions. And if you do, it's worth holding on to. The Stoics believed that life was about more than just survival. It was about thriving, growing, and becoming the best version of yourself. And that can only happen when you stick with what you love, even when it's hard. So whatever it is you're passionate about, don't give up on it. Keep going, even when it feels difficult. Remember that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow, and that the things you love are worth fighting for. As Seneca reminds us, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that things are difficult. Dare to keep going, and you'll discover that the rewards are far greater than the challenges. Lesson 6. Go for kindness. In a world where it often feels like everyone is in a rush, stressed out, or too focused on their own lives, kindness can seem like an outdated concept. It's easy to overlook the power of a kind word, a simple gesture, or just taking a moment to connect with someone else. But the truth is, kindness is one of the most powerful tools we have for improving not only the lives of others, but also our own. And while it may seem small, choosing to be kind can make a huge impact on your happiness and the way you navigate the world. The Stoics were big believers in the power of kindness. They understood that while we can't control the actions of others, we can always control how we respond. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Kindness is invincible, but only when it's sincere, with no hypocrisy or faking." What Marcus meant is that kindness isn't just about doing nice things for people. It's about approaching life with a genuine, sincere desire to be a force for good. When you choose to be kind, no one can take that away from you. It's a strength, not a weakness. So why is kindness so important? For one, it's contagious. When you're kind to someone, it creates a ripple effect. Maybe you compliment someone, offer help when they're struggling, or just smile at a stranger. That small act can lift their mood, and in turn, they're more likely to pass that positivity onto someone else. This is called the kindness contagion effect, and studies have shown that when people witness or receive acts of kindness, they're more likely to pay it forward. In fact, research conducted at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, found that kindness has a profound impact on both the giver and the receiver. People who engage in kind acts experience a boost in mood, reduced stress levels, and even improved physical health. On the flip side, those who receive kindness are more likely to report feelings of gratitude and happiness, which can improve their relationships and overall well-being. But here's the best part. Kindness is a habit that anyone can build. It doesn't take much effort, and the rewards are immense. The Stoics would argue that being kind is part of our duty as human beings. They believed in the interconnectedness of all people, that we are all part of the same universal community. As Epictetus once said, "We are all brothers and sisters by nature. Our bodies and souls are bound together by a shared divine spark." This Stoic idea reminds us that kindness isn't just about being nice to the people we know and like. It's about recognizing our shared humanity and treating everyone with respect and compassion. So how can you incorporate more kindness into your life? It starts with being mindful of how you interact with others. We all have moments where we're distracted, stressed, or impatient, and in those moments, it's easy to snap at someone or ignore an opportunity to be kind. But if you can slow down and become more aware of your interactions, you'll find that there are countless chances to spread kindness every day. For example, think about the last time someone did something that irritated you. Maybe they cut you off in traffic or were rude at the grocery store. Your first reaction might be frustration or anger. But what if you chose kindness instead? What if you let it go, or even smiled at them? The Stoics believe that we can't control how other people behave, but we can always control our response. Choosing kindness in these moments not only diffuses tension, but also helps you stay calm and centered. Another way to practice kindness is by actively looking for opportunities to help others. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Something as simple as holding the door open for someone, helping a neighbor carry their groceries, or sending an encouraging text to a friend can make a big difference. These small acts of kindness add up, and over time, they'll become second nature. And the best part? The more you practice kindness, the better you'll feel. Science backs this up. Engaging in acts of kindness has been shown to release oxytocin, often called the love hormone, which helps to lower blood pressure, reduce stress, and promote feelings of warmth and connection. The Stoics were also big proponents of gratitude, which is closely tied to kindness. When you're kind to others, you're acknowledging the good in your own life and the world around you. It's a reminder that no matter what challenges you're facing, there's always an opportunity to make someone else's day a little brighter. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." This simple truth highlights how kindness is always within our reach. It's a choice we can make at any time, in any situation. Of course, being kind doesn't mean being a pushover or letting people take advantage of you. The Stoics were firm believers in maintaining boundaries and standing up for yourself when necessary. Kindness, when practiced sincerely, comes from a place of strength, not weakness. It's about acting with integrity and compassion, without expecting anything in return. And this is what makes it so powerful. When you're kind, you're doing something that's fully within your control, no matter what's going on around you. Kindness is always an option. In a world that can sometimes feel harsh and unforgiving, kindness is a way to reclaim your sense of agency. It reminds you that even in the face of negativity, you have the power to make a positive impact, and that impact isn't limited to the people around you. It also affects your own happiness and well-being. By choosing kindness, you're creating a life filled with meaning, connection, and joy. So as you move through your day, remember that every interaction is an opportunity for kindness, whether it's with a friend, a coworker, or a stranger. You have the power to brighten someone's day, and in doing so, you'll find that your own life becomes richer and more fulfilling. As Marcus Aurelius said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love, and to be kind."